notice was sent to adjacent property landowners. Notice was placed in the paper as required. The proposed request has been available for public inspection prior to the Planning Commission hearing, and the rezoning of this property would not adversely affect adjacent landowners, and the proposed rezoning of the property is consistent with the master plan. So the Planning Commission voted for a favorable recommendation by a vote of 8-0 and no abstentions. And so the resolution would be ordinance number 2024-019, and it's an ordinance to amend the Owen County Zoning and Subdivision Control Ordinance. Now therefore be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners of Owen County, Indiana, Section 1, the Owen County Zoning and Subdivision Control Ordinance as amended is hereby amended to rezone the following described real estate situated in Washington Township, Owen County, Indiana, and it gives the detailed meets and bounds description of that, the area being 2.01 acres. It's more commonly known as 2298 Mattville in Gosport, and the Section 2, the above described real estate should be and zone is hereby rezoned from agricultural to residential, single family. In Section 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after it's adopted and passed by the Board of Commissioners of Owen County in a regular meeting held on the second day of October 2024.
Thank you, Dan. First, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve the rezone change. It does have a favorable 8-0. Any questions or concerns?
I have none.
All right. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Motion to accept ordinance 2024.
We're not on that yet.
Oh, you're making it?
No, let's get this rezone approved first, and then we'll do that.
Okay.
So you want to make a motion to approve the rezone?
Yes.
Have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Joe. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
It requires one signature.
Yeah.
All right, and now do I hear a motion to approve ordinance number 2024-019?
I'll make that motion then.
Have a motion by Bob. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. You want to put that in the basket down there for Sheila. You have the original? Okay. Okay, building department. A couple of things there. As we know, we lost a very valuable part of our county government. Susan resigning and leaving last week. First thing we need to address is she has a payout of $9,814.70, comp time, vacation, so on. These are normally paid out by the council through Riverboat, so we don't stall this payment for her. Sheila suggests we go ahead and take it out of the building department's cash balance and then go back to the council and request refund to that department, which it will need to be replaced. Do I hear a motion to approve the payout of the building department funds with a request of the council to refund that money?
I'll make that motion, Bob, or Gary.
Have a motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Bob. All in favor? Aye. Does that satisfy everything there, Sheila, that we were discussing? Put that down there, yes.
Got some daily, you're receiving the storage unit funds and any building permits that Gary Dubois might be processing. Those monies have to be deposited in the banks daily, and then we do a monthly report with an appropriation process through the treasurer and the auditor's office. So at the end of that month, we'll have to come to you to write out the check to give to the treasurer's office so they can be deposited in the right funds. We've got to make sure daily deposits are getting done. There's several checks that are laying down there now that we've got to get in the bank.
And I will talk to him again this morning. I did tell him to continue to make those deposits as you and I had discussed. I will get to the bank and get Susan's name off of that account. Try to get that done before the end of this week.
We can't do those daily deposits because we're the ones that are the IOU processes of it, so.
So there's no checks and balances at that point, correct?
On
So I will
that,
get with him again and make sure he gets those picked up and gets that all taken care of today. Also, we've only had one application for that position. We are going to hold off until we get more applications with better qualifications. It's going to be a very, very hard position to fill with mapping and building. It is going to set this county back as far as development. We have 4 Oaks going, trying to build homes, with asking for permits, and no one in that position to do that. So not just that, but Cook as well. So again, it's going to set the county back a great bit.
We've had, Lynette is out a heck of a week because we can't do transfers. We can't, unless the steps are done there. Who do you want us having calling? Right now, we're just passing them on to you guys because, I mean, people have got to be able to continue, and we can't transfer properties or do anything that's coming through there without the mapping side of stuff.
Well, yeah, and unfortunately, that department didn't get the support it needed to do what it needed to do. So hopefully, we can fix that problem moving forward. But again, I've asked Sheila to continue to put those job applications out online. We need a code enforcement person. We need a building department head. Again, huge gap and concern for Owen County. So we'll continue to work on that. And obviously, Sheila, you and I have talked about it. Contact, we'll work back and forth the best we can and fix whatever we can do to keep it moving. Dana, you have any comment on that? I know you're part of that with the Planning Commission.
Yeah, I've just got a lot of concerns, as you say, about moving forward, because there's nobody in the office that can take applications for rezones or variances. And, usually Suzanne would have a discussion with them before to let them know about the process, what there was going to be needed to do, but there's no one there to do that right now. So that's a difficult situation for the county to be in. Another issue is that Suzanne's position was also the enforcement authority for the unsafe building and premises law in Owen County. And so that means that everything in that department is pretty much on hold because there's no enforcement authority. For instance, there's one situation where the next step is going to be to take civil action, and it would be the department doing that through the enforcement authority, but there is no enforcement authority, so I can't file a lawsuit without having a person in that position. So it's really detrimental in a lot of ways.
So, yeah, we've got these situations that's been brought to the commissioner's attention with various living conditions, so on and so forth, that we're stuck. And it's a shame. It's a disgrace to the citizens of the county. All right, enough said. Volmac truck resolution. We received a new truck at the county highway Friday, I believe it was. Very nice truck we've been waiting on for a good while. I'd like to see the whole fleet go that way. I know Greg and Chad and I talked about that a little bit. I think that truck suits our needs and is in a price range that we can probably afford to move forward later on down the road. We even had discussed, and we can discuss it later today in our administrative meeting, about possibly trading some older equipment and trying to get another one of those into the fleet. We can discuss that later today. So go ahead. They brought some paperwork down, and we just need to get it all approved.
Right. One of them is a resolution regarding the governmental lease agreement number 001-075-3212-300, dated as of September 20th of 2024. And they had sent what they requested to be the resolution, and I put it into our formatting, and also it just talked about the Owen County Commissioners, but the true name of this board is the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen. So I made sure that that was all clear all the way through. So this is a resolution authorizing the negotiation, execution, and delivery of governmental lease purchase agreement 01-0753212-300, dated September 20th of 2024, hearing called the lease, in principal amount not to exceed $169,565.77 between the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen, Indiana, the Owen County Commissioners, 60 South Main Street, Spencer, Indiana, 47460-1795, and the Huntington National Bank, 11100 Wayzata Boulevard, Suite 700, Minnetonka, Minnesota, 55305, and prescribing other details in connection therewith. So whereas Indiana Code 36-2-2-2 establishes the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen as the county executive, whereas Owen County Commissioners, the lessee, is a political subdivision duly organized and existing pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana, whereas lessee is duly authorized by applicable law to acquire such items of personal property as are needed to carry out its governmental functions, and to acquire such personal property by entering into lease purchase agreements. Whereas lessee hereby finds and determines that the execution of the lease for the purpose of leasing with an option to purchase the property designated and set forth in attachment 2 of the lease is appropriate and necessary to the function and operations of the lessee. Whereas the Huntington National Bank, the lessor, shall act as lessor under the lease. And whereas the lease shall not constitute a general obligation indebtedness of the lessee within the meaning of the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen, the following. Section 1, the lessee is substantially a form as presently before the governing body of the lessee is hereby approved, and the president of the lessee is hereby authorized to negotiate, enter into, and deliver the lease and related documents in substantially the form as presented before the governing body of the lessee, with such changes therein as shall be approved by such officer, and which lease will be available for public inspection at the offices of the lessee. So that would be the auditor's office in this case. Section 2, the lessee shall, and the officers, agents, and employees of the lessee are hereby authorized and directed to take such further action and execute such other documents, certificates, and instruments as may be necessary or desirable to carry out and comply with the intent of this resolution, and to carry out, comply with, and perform the duties of the lessee with respect to the lease. Section 3, the lessee's obligations under the lease shall be expressly subject to annual appropriations of lessee, and such obligations under the lease shall not constitute a general obligation of lessee or indebtedness of lessee within the meaning of the Constitution and laws of the state of Indiana. Section 4, all other related contracts and agreements necessary and incidental of the lease are hereby authorized, ratified, and approved. Section 5, lessee reasonably anticipate to issue not more than $10 million of tax-exempt obligations other than private activity bonds, which are not qualified 501c3 bonds, during the current calendar year, and hereby designates the lease as a qualified tax-exempt obligation for purposes of Section 265B of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 as amended. In Section 6, this resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption and approval. Passed and resolved by the Board of Commissioners of the County of Owen, State of Indiana, in a regular meeting held on the second day of October 2024.
Thank you, Dana. Do I hear a motion to approve Resolution 2024-011, a resolution regarding governmental lease agreement number 001-075-3212-300.
I'll make that motion, Gary.
I have a motion by Joel. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Greg, before I let you come up, WTH showed up here. You want to come on up real quick? He's going to be real quick, and then we'll get you guys rolling.
Want to let you know about, just recently awarded, well, not awarded, but it's going to be coming out of program through the Indiana Geographic Information Office. They're partnering with the State 911 Board and the DLGF for a grant program to get your addresses and center lines on a national standard. It's the NG911 program. It's been working for quite a while. It's going to be a grant that's opening up on October the 14th, and we're going to be able to directly work through you with the 911 director. There will be no match. There is a cap on the amount. We're 10,000 estimated under the cap for you, so that even makes it even better. One of the things that we'll also be able to do that is recently identified is there's two things that they're looking for this national standard, and one is the address points, that everything is done correctly, so that future addressing will be done correctly to meet the standards that the national has, and then also that the center lines will be meeting the same standard. What I identified this past week was that the standard that we create, we've already done 27 in Indiana of these programs. It's a grant that started in 2019, is that they break the roadways up into segments, road segments, so intersection to intersection, which ties into the Pacer, which is going to be incredible because now we're going to be able to create a Pacer layer using this data that we're generating from this,
That's
allowing
great.
you to be able to do those accurate adjustments and be able to rate roads
By
segment to
segments.
segment, instead of like Hedrick Road from here to there, 25 miles, and not be able to break that up into segments is really going to be able to micromanage that. So what we're just seeking here is blessings to move forward with 911 in seeking this grant. Sherry will be the contact. We will help her create a login to the portal, and then we'll work through her, matching up the state's language and everything that has to be put in, basically where she just has to hit the go button. And then from that point, we'll be doing all the data, and then we'll be funded through the DLGF in the 911 GIO office, which they've already set the money aside, and it'll be coming in portions. So just like building a house, we'll get a percentage as we sign, we'll get a percentage as we're 50% compliant, and then as we're meeting that national standard, we'll get the final compensation. Whether that goes through the county or actually that we're funded from the state has not been exactly determined. I mean, this literally was Friday. This grant's opening up. It's going to be available for all 92 counties. All 92 counties will be able to do this. It's going to be an 18-month project, and they're going to award 9 per month. So what we're trying to do is get yours ready, that at 8 a.m. on the 14th, we hit the button.
We appreciate
And
you
Owen
being
County
here. Yeah.
is going to be in the first. And the reason is because you don't have center lines currently with the state. And so they want all these counties that are currently meeting those standards first. And so that's what we're trying to do. We've got 57 counties that we do the 911 for here in Indiana. And so we're trying to get our ones that we feel are priority ones first. And then that way we can just, get those knocked out, and the ones that we've already done or that don't need as much cleanup will be later on the line. So that's that. I'll go ahead and I emailed you a copy. I'll leave one with you. Sherry's got one. I'll give these other two. Anybody else that wants a copy? The second thing I just learned last Wednesday at the conference with Suzanne. So want to also put that out. Anything that you need mapping wise to keep caught up, let us know. We contract with many counties in Indiana who have run through auditors that have moved on or changed or deaths or whatever, and your parcels keep coming every day, just like you guys said. And so instead of getting behind, we can help you out with those. So if you want to have somebody just get a hold of us, we'll see what we can do to keep you up. Now, the building codes we can, or the building permits and stuff we can't do, but as far as any of the mapping stuff that Suzanne was doing, please let
I'll
us know.
have Gary get a hold of you, Sean.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, does that give us permission for my staff to call and?
Oh, absolutely. We can't sit on our hands and do anything here. We have to keep the ball rolling, so.
We just went through this with Pike County, Spencer County, Montgomery County. I mean, those things happen. And when you just have one person doing it, or maybe just two in that office, those things happen, so.
We're also having email troubles.
Sure.
I do not have this, so.
Oh, that's fine.
We'll get you a copy of it, yeah.
Can we make a copy on Dana's?
Is this the one you asked me the other day, did I get?
Yeah.
Sherry, is this, so.
And I'm gonna follow up with Microsoft today and see if I can figure out where we're at with our email issues. Some of us are getting emails, some of us aren't. Some of us are getting some people's emails and not others. It's very random and makes not a whole lot of sense, but I'll follow up again. Again, I've been told several times that it's above our IT area, it's Microsoft, so I'll dig into that again. But yeah, we'll have Gary Dubois, which is our building inspector, stay in touch with you.
And I'll stop on the way down.
Yeah, see
I
if
think
he's
he was-
down there. I know he was out this morning on an inspection because he couldn't be here, but Sheila's office definitely. So yeah, we appreciate it, Sean.
As far as the transfers go, they continue through the software as far as data transfers on ownership and all that. It's just gonna be your splits. You know, if it's just a transfer, there's no line changes. But if somebody's splitting property up, you got a new deed.
Whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like I say, that's something we do all day, every day. And they can knock these out in minutes.
Okay.
Takes me that long just to read from the such and such corner to the other corner to,
Right.
so.
I'm gonna go ahead and ask for a motion to approve WTH to move forward with us with this grant process, to help us out with this situation that he's provided us today. Greg?
I'm sorry, Gary, I didn't know anything about this. This will be the second time. Last time Sean did this to me about 2 years ago, spoke in a meeting about something, the highway department, without speaking to me. I work with him very well, but if we're gonna talk about the highway department, you need to talk to me first. You talked about the phaser thing. I know you may need the grant. I have no idea what you're talking about, but you're talking about road segments and how this is gonna be this big epiphany and how it's gonna help. Old County Highway Department's been phasing roads and road segments since 2019. So that's not anything you're gonna do for me that's not been done. The technology might be great, but you've never spoken to me about that. You just informed this board of commissioners that you're gonna help the highway department with something, and you never talked to me.
Right. Let me clarify that, because maybe I said that language a little bit incorrectly. The meeting was just Friday, at 4 o'clock was my meeting with my company that says we're gonna move forward. We're not creating anything, we're not doing anything that hasn't been able to do. We're doing a cleanup, and this is for NG 911. What I'm saying as far as that is, in the future, there will be this data that we can, if you want to say, copy, steal, borrow, whatever, to be able to use with Phaser. This is just something that I'm seeing. This is nothing we're doing to do anything with the highway department. This is for 911. Before 911, everybody had a phone that had a cord that was connected to a line that was connected to a pole. Nobody has that anymore. So the national level, there was a standard that set out that says, hey, this is how we want you to do it. Well, Illinois did it different than Kentucky, and Kentucky did it different in Indiana, maybe California even did it different. They let everybody say, this is what we want. Now that we're all getting caught up, I run into this a lot, like Posey County, for instance. The 911 call comes in, Illinois, Kentucky, Indiana, And they're all three calling Main Street something different, parodies of odds on the right and evens on the left, and like I said, so the national level has now said, this is a standard that we're gonna set. When we're gonna do a road moving forward, this is how it's gonna be. And so that goes back to the 2019, like you're referring to, when they're starting to break things up. What I didn't mean anything that we're doing anything with the highway department. What I'm just saying is, using what they're getting will be great for you in the future. And again, this was 4 o'clock on Friday that I got this information.
That's fine, we work together well.
Yes,
I was talking about the highway department,
Just so you know, Greg, the proposal says 911,
Yeah.
has nothing to do with highway.
Right.
thank you.
But what I'm saying is that we're gonna use her stuff and the state's money to make your department easier, better, faster, more efficient, you know? Because with your act that you've got, you'll be able to drive down the road to him and go, this segment's crappy, but we're good. You know, somebody may say, well, Hedrick Road, that's a good road. Yeah, except for where this rock truck turns out every day and makes a hard right-hand turn and eats this up.
So
So,
don't get me wrong, I like the technology, I just want to make sure that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You
And
have to
again,
talk to me
this
about
is-
any of this.
yeah, no,
We're
this,
talking phaser, that's me.
right. What I'm looking, when I see something, I see, what can I do with this? You know, a basketball, we can shoot it or we can throw it at my sister. You know, I mean, it's got multiple purposes. And I'm looking at something that she has to have that's gonna make it life better for me. And I appreciate you reaching out to me. But like I said, I just want to clarify, this is just looking at somebody else's stuff that we can use to make your life better.
And again, I'll make it clear, it is for 911, this
Can I
proposal.
ask a question about this?
Yeah.
Because we have people calling and asking for addresses, so will 911 be assigning the addresses?
That will be up to the commissioners.
And
because-
then are addresses gonna change for other?
No addresses will change. If your address, and let me just give that example for it, there's a standard that's gonna say, I use that odds on the left and evens on the right.
addresses.
100 moving forward, 500, okay? If your address is incorrect,
build a house,
it's just gonna stay incorrect.
give you an
If somebody builds a house on either side of it, it's gonna be made to that correct.
They said they
So
don't.
nobody's address will change. Still get birthday cards to the same, no, still gonna get birthday cards to the same address. But we have a tool when we create addresses that Suzanne did, that's literally, you know, you push on a button, and it uses that road and says, okay, this should be 545 South County Roads, whatever, and that's what it does. Even if the road, or even if the address beside it is incorrect, it's saying this is what it should be, and this is what it's gonna be moving forward. So, good question, because that was something I've had many times, is, you're gonna change my address? So, no, we're not gonna change your address.
And I don't think that this board, in our quick discussion here, has any intentions of taking addressing from the building department and giving it to 911. That is not their responsibility. They have way too much stuff to worry about. You need to get your address from where you're asking for a building permit,
Yeah.
so on and so, and that's not going to change.
Yeah. I only have a few 911 departments that actually do that, and that's just because they're the ones that did it 10 years ago, and they're typically open, you know, 5 days a week, where the one county, the courthouse is closed on Wednesday, and, you know, so there's somebody else there.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, thank you.
The amounts of the cost of the services would be $20,920. I'd also recommend that any motion to approve be contingent on the language being acceptable to the attorney. I see a couple things in here I'd like to tweak a little bit already, but I'd like more time to look through it.
Absolutely.
I think we should make a motion to have county council look over this before we do anything.
Yeah.
In other words, table this proposal until such time as we hear back from them. And I'd like time to look through it too, because I'm still I'm not sure where we're going with this. I understand you're trying to nationally or federally put everything the same.
Standard. It's a state standard that everyone's gonna have to do to meet a national standard. And the other thing is that
It's free money.
in the language, I believe, sir, is it says that you're not binding to anything unless you're approved and everything goes through.
Yeah, this needs to go to council and be reviewed and a little more discussion on this.
He had said that the grant opened on October the 14th and they wanted to apply and your next meeting isn't
Till the
until
16th.
the 16th.
Well,
Like I said, there's only a couple of things that I saw that I'd like to tweak, just to make sure that, for instance, it says this proposal will only go into effect upon the notification of the awarding of the NG 911 addressing funding program grant, and I want to make sure that that reflects that that the grant would be enough to cover the invoice, not,
Yeah, we don't want any expense out of it.
I think, I feel like we should probably discuss this more, Gary.
What if we wait till the 16th and the application process opens up on the 14th? How fast is that going to fill up? I'm assuming there's several counties.
Right, 92 counties.
Yeah.
Now,
But like I said, it's an open, 18-month open, so every month.
Can we
We're gonna
apply?
accept 9 more, so.
We'll just hold off,
Yeah,
table
there's
it
nothing
till,
that says you have to do this today. We're just saying we would like to get the counties who don't have the center lines to, the NG 911 center lines to the state, to be able to get those in.
yeah, as long as it's approved by the council. You know, if we don't accept free money, there's something wrong with us, but we just need to make sure that it's correct.
Yeah, the way that like where they put a cap, we've got some counties that are a lot bigger and have a lot more work that has to be done, then it could be an estimate of $32,500. And if the state's only give $30,000, then the county would be responsible for the $2,500. But like the previous 2 rounds of grant that we did with the state, where we did the 27 other counties, there was like a 20% match. So this one, there's no match. That makes it uniquely different to everything.
Absolutely.
And it's called, and it's tied through the GIO office because they're looking to collect all this data. And then the next thing that they're going after is parcels, because they want to make sure that all the parcels in your county are accounted for. So the state's getting their money, and you're getting your money off all tax money.
Joe, you want to make a motion to table until the next meeting?
yeah, I'd make a motion to table the WTH proposal until our next meeting.
Have a motion by Joel, do I hear a second? Second. Second by Bob, all in favor? Aye. All right, great, thanks, Sean.
Thank you. I gotta get the button counted.
Morning, guys.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Little update, Commissioners, we'll be laying cold mix tomorrow on Newport Road, moving to Sherfield, and then White Springs. I think we're gonna have several ton of cold mix left over.
Do we have
I'll know
Ellis
that more
Lake?
after tomorrow, but I really think we're gonna have quite a bit.
We still discussing Ellis Lake as part of that process?
That's correct.
Okay. I got another call's the reason I was asking.
Then, Hurricane Helene, of course, affected the county greatly. Wasn't as bad, I didn't think, as we expected. I'm not speaking for any of the other departments, I'm speaking for my own. We had really good communication during this storm, so I thank the 911 center for that. We worked, just, for the highway department, communication was extraordinary this time. We had the information we needed, we had the other departments there if we needed them, and we didn't have to ask for it. Those folks knew to send it as we went. In front of you, you'll see, it's just, you know, a graft of what we spent during this storm. We burned 144 gallons of fuel, just truck fuel, 4 gallons of chainsaw fuel. And then we also burnt 50 gallons of off-road fuel during the storm. And we had 92 hours of overtime into it. But again, I think from our standpoint, good communication, things went off without a hitch, other than it was just bad weather.
And Greg did tell me that we had communication over the weekend that 911 did an exceptional job, so Sherry, thank you for your staff and that support.
Bridge number 14, gentlemen, I was just contacted by Bill Williams by text from CLR. Bridge number 14, as of this morning, is complete in regard to repairs to open it up to the light traffic short of the height restriction. We're waiting for United Consultant to tell us exactly what that is, but the moment they do, we can move forward. Once I have that information, I could order the signage, and gentlemen, we could have that bridge open within, 2-3 weeks. Sometimes it takes a while to get the signage in, and there needs to be good warning as to what that is, but then it will be open to a 3-ton load limit with height restriction. But the main part of the work was completed this morning.
Wow. He didn't mess around.
Were we gonna video surveillance that bridge? for
Yes,
future?
you all gave me the
Well,
approval
yes,
to get
And
that.
Sherry her department can watch that 24 hours a day. She has the capability to see that bridge.
Okay,
I don't know if you want to take that on, the viewing, or, but
You're fine with that, if you're fine with that.
you had mentioned,
absolutely,
Put it up on a separate TV in there.
And-
absolutely.
and so any future surveillance of our bridges can be just, if we got any questions.
I guess we need to get with fourth phase on that.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
So, it beats game cameras,
Yes, yes.
okay? Because people steal those.
Yeah, well, then you gotta go out and pull the SIM card and
Yeah,
remove
and
data.
Sherry, you had spoke to me and said that in the future, if we could figure out, if we were gonna monitor these bridges, that you would have the capability to watch those.
So that'd be great.
So I didn't mean to throw you under the bus there, but I think that'd be an awesome idea.
Well, at the cost of that bridge and being historical, it should have gotten the condition that it's in, so, yeah. But I think Greg's got some other information on that as well.
The fog sealing was completed yesterday. We'll finish the RPE today. We've still got, I think, a good 4 to 6 weeks in construction season, so I think we'll be able to get everything done. Of course, we'll be switching over to brush cutting, ditching, and back to pothole filling rather soon also. Gentlemen, I don't have anything else.
All right, we'll see you out the highway after the meeting and put some stuff together.
Thanks, guys.
Elected officials and department heads. Polly, Chris, Sherry,
Everybody's quiet.
auditors' comments.
It's good. Healthy results. Even though insurance is changing come January, the current laundry map is supposed to be here as well. We're still gonna be holding this next Thursday and Friday. We've sent it out, we'll send it out again, probably send it today and again, maybe again next Tuesday. We're not as, they had said we had to have 50% of the county employees because of the change. It won't be as bad, but that doesn't mean we don't want them to come. It might help with the new ones coming in, so we'll get everybody going on that one. AT&T finally credited the $100 and some thousand bill. We of course have to keep our bills up to date. It unfortunately have to sign with a 3-year contract. We know there's some changes coming down the pike with what's allowable and what's not, so I don't know that this will last. It's something we'll have to work with. We're trying to get a meeting together with all the powers that be to see what we need to do, but we were credited $179,000 and some dollars from last year's contract that,
Not to the good, not we gained anything, they were trying to bill us for something we weren't gonna pay for, so it just washed itself out.
Pizza party or what?
Attorney comments.
Something I just thought about was the UDO open house is coming up on tomorrow. I believe it was posted 4 to 8, but somewhere else 4 to 9. So they're going to go with the 4 to 9. There needs to be a county employee present for that, and Suzanne's gone, so I did not know. I thought we ought to mention that. Susan mentioned it to me the other day that there's going to need anything after hours. They've always wanted a county employee present.
Where's that held at? Here?
Here, yes, I think right here. Commissioners room.
Joe, you can do that, can't you?
No. Not sitting in on it.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, a county employee, John's got to open the building for him. Isn't that a county employee?
That's just what Suzanne had told me, is that I guess they're downstairs, they needed to be somebody with them.
Well, you'll probably have quite a crowd.
I suggest you have security here.
I would very much so.
Open up the courthouse, I mean, that's just my opinion.
I believe,
I'm sure that that's already been set up since there's a meeting, so. Anything else?
No, that's it.
I mean, I'm going to be here, I would urge everybody to come, because I think it's very important for our county, so. Kind of disappointing if, we have to beg something.
does there need to be a sign-in sheet, or would they just handle all of that, or?
I believe since it's just an open house, people can come and go. I don't know, it wouldn't hurt to have a sign-in sheet if people would want to sign
Yeah,
in.
it's not an actual full-blown meeting, it's just a discussion.
well, there will be just some disgruntled people. So
What we said.
if anybody
Part of county government.
wants to come, and I've encouraged anybody that called me or spoke to me on the subject, I told them to come to the meeting. I'm tired of explaining it, because apparently people can't read. So I would encourage everybody to come. I personally won't hear of it. And it'll probably never come in front of me as a sitting commissioner. So any input I have would be a waste of time.
Is that your commissioner comments?
No, I got
You
more.
got more?
I do.
All right.
Four meetings ago, don't quote the date, I made a motion to pass an injunction against Broken Arrow, Nancy's Broken Arrow. I was informed this morning, excuse me, sir, your name? Will Islands back. That we don't know where any of this stands. I can't speak intelligently about it, other than ask the county attorney, where do we stand on this, and has that been filed?
Yeah, I had sent out an email regarding this. What had happened is that there is Suzanne was mistaken when she said that when it changed ownership, that the business couldn't not be continued. That was incorrect, because the ordinance actually says that it can be. So they're not doing anything against the county ordinance. So it becomes a civil matter between the property owners. We have nothing that we can file an injunction on.
Okay, well, and correct me if I'm wrong, we sat here as commissioners, and sheriff was present, deputy sheriff was here, and we agreed that this was a safety problem. So, having said that, it is our problem. It is our problem. It is not a civil matter. If somebody shoots an arrow across and hits this man or somebody on his property, That's a safety issue. So we're gonna have to figure out how to wiggle our way around this to get this resolved. Because this man's been very patient and he's asked a lot of us. We took the step to get the ball rolling. Now we're gonna figure out how to keep the ball rolling.
I know this isn't open public, but can I say something?
Since the matter's been brought up, you sure can.
Sure. Well, I don't understand. I sent a lot of information through Suzanne to the county attorney. There was never a phone call made to me. There was explanations that could have been made to make his job easier. Number one, you say there's a functioning business there. Did you actually check the business? Is it a functioning business?
My understanding is that that business there's no evidence that business has not been continued. The only way that it would be no longer grandfathered in, because it was prior to the zoning ordinance, would be if they failed to operate for a period of 6 months.
And what would you consider operating? Filing taxes?
How they actually, what their operations are.
But yet again, they're saying they're a business. There should be a tax return for them. There should be some sort of financial chase after that business. And I'm telling you, there's not. You didn't ask the questions.
Well, I believe we have a safety issue here. If my fellow commissioners disagree, then certainly, but this is a safety issue, and we've run both sides of this fence here. We've got to.
I've supported it from day one.
As I have too, and
Yep.
I don't understand. We need to figure this out. We need it, because you've been, and now communications through Suzanne, that may be an issue because of her leaving us. But you've got a valid point, and I'm gonna do my best to work with this board to figure out what we can do.
And I guess at this point, we move forward and ask council to dig into it further and see what he can find on our behalf. I agree, it's a safety concern. It doesn't matter if it's this gentleman
Or any other gentleman.
Yeah, Troy, it doesn't matter who it is, it's an issue for us as a community. So I ask that we go ahead and pursue it to the fullest, whatever that might be.
I'd have to find a legal basis for that.
And that's all I guess we're asking at this point. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
And you tell us it's exhausted, then the law is the law.
But if we haven't exhausted every resource yet, we haven't done our job. And it's no different, it's you or Troy or anybody. We don't need weapons being shot across our property, whether it's an arrow or a bullet.
And yet again, in some of your new stuff, you're opening up some more property to be able to be turned into archery shoots or gun ranges if you read carefully.
This is a discussion that's gonna have to come into the future, because now,
And it's not to us yet anyway, and everybody needs to understand that. There's a process that us all happens.
I do understand that. I didn't know how well you guys have read through that yet. I read all the pages very, very well, and I'm going, they're opening up more issues for themselves. So, and the problem with the archery especially is it's an unregulated area. It's a really gray area. There's no governing body to it. So it's onto a county to make those decisions. There's not a state standard. It's a county by county thing.
And it's why it's important that we enforce our zoning laws with a code enforcement officer, that we move forward with these things that fill these gaps, that protect the citizens. That's the purpose of all of this. So I agree with you.
I thank you for your patience,
Not a problem.
but we're gonna do what we can. Because this won't be the only time this is brought in front of
I
you.
didn't understand the communication gap. I mean, to me, if a county attorney run up against something, a county attorney should be coming back to the commissioners going, hey, this injunction can't be filed, and here's the reasons why. I mean.
And I sent that email out.
I shouldn't have had to been coming and asking, I should have been being told.
Yeah, there was an email that came out. I assumed that Susan had contacted you. He did send us an email out to all three of us. Again, I wasn't sure what the communication path was. I assumed that Susan was dealing with that. Obviously, that wasn't the case. We're at a new point here and we're gonna move forward, okay? Joe, you got anything else?
Oh, no, that's it.
Bob?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, have we ever heard anything on our roof damage, hail damage and everything?
It's still
From the
moving
insurance
forward, and I
company?
talked to John Parmalee. Originally, the Liberty Mutual said that we only had 6 months to get it done. That has been
Yeah.
extended. It can't be done, so John's approved all that. The $2.6 million project, there
Are
was
those
some,
people still to bid?
oh yeah, Precision is already been accepted. They'll be doing the project, but it'll probably be spring before it gets started.
On that same note, Bob and Gary, I was asked several times on what the county was gonna do with the copper. And we need to make real sure what happens with that copper. If they're crediting X for the copper, I get it, but there's a lot of people that feel that that's historical pieces, and those could be used as fundraising.
Well, that's second bunch of copper up there. That's not the original.
It's still got a value to it, but that's just a
I
thought.
don't, I'd have to go back and look at the original bid to see if that was a trade-in.
And I think
value.
I've asked you about this before.
Yeah, and I don't have a problem doing that. If people want to purchase some of that to raise money, absolutely.
I think the bid was 5,600, something like that, was in the,
For the
The scrap
For the
value,
scrap.
That's for the scrap.
we'll have to figure out what the value of that is,
Yeah,
for weight and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I have metals up and down.
Right,
anyway.
and again, the insurance may limit us to what we can do, because that is their deal, not ours.
I
So,
understand.
yeah, that's something that needs to be dealt with there, because again, that contract is through our insurance company, not Owen County.
Yeah.
The only couple things that I have, and Sheila touched on it, departments, please get your employees out for the healthy results. It does help. Ron did assure me, and I think he sent that in an email, and I've talked to him on the phone a couple of times, as we make this transition from IU Health to whatever this new company's name is, and it left me right now, it looks like they're going to guarantee us a 2-year agreement, which is good. We're not regrouping every year. Now, whether that falls into our 20% increase or it's going to be 30%, that we don't know yet. We'll know closer to November. But at least we're going to get a 2-year agreement from everything that I've been told. So that's a good thing. Other than that, I don't know of anything else this time. I think the apple butter was a pretty good success. State Board of Accounts is in town, and
Yay.
had a meeting with them. Be here for a few months.
63 days.
Yeah. Not 63 and a half, but 63. Motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Greg will be out there at 15.